What is up, my bodyweight warriors, and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be going over another Do It Right episode. This is a series in which we go over different stretches, different positions. We break down what not to do, what to do, and how to fix it so you can nail that position. Today we're going to be going over the downward dog position. So if you are struggling with your downward dog and you want to improve it, this is going to be the video for you. But first I should disclaim that I am not a yogi. I did do yoga for a couple of years. That was several years ago. However, I do understand biomechanics and I understand flexibility, so with these tips, it should help you improve your downward dog position. First of all, we're going to jump into some mistakes that people commonly make, what's the reasons that people are making these mistakes, and then at the end, I'm going to share some progressions with you, as well as some exercises, how you can correct these issues and master the downward dog. Let's jump into it. So the first mistake that I commonly see people make is the big one, and that is rounding of the lower back. This is probably the most annoying one. We want to get those nice straight line through the legs, nice straight line through the upper body, and oftentimes there's a nice big rounding in the middle. The reason for this is quite simple. It's that you haven't got the hamstring flexibility. We can't rotate that pelvis round, we can't flatten out the lower back because we just simply haven't got the hamstring flexibility to do so. There is a reason for this, and that's because in the downward dog position, we're actually stretching the hamstrings with our foot in a flexed position, and this does make the stretch harder. You can test this out for yourself quite simply. Do a normal single leg hamstring stretch on the floor, standing up, then get an object, elevate the foot slightly, flex the ankle, do the same stretch and feel the difference. It will bring in more of the calf and it will also have a relation with the sciatic nerve and it will make the stretch harder. This is the way that we end up stretching in the downward dog position. So to fix this issue, we kind of need to work on our hamstring flexibility, our calf flexibility, and also pay attention to that sciatic nerve if it is bothering us. Mistake number two that I commonly see is bending of the legs. Now this again is related to point number one. It's going to be all about that hamstring, calf, and sciatic nerve flexibility. If we haven't got the hamstring flexibility and we're trying to flatten out that lower back, an easy way to do it is reduce the amount of hamstring flexibility we need, and we can do that by bending the knees. So to go from this position to a nice straight leg, we need to therefore stretch out the hamstrings, the calves, and that sciatic nerve a little bit more. Again, I'm going to get into how you can do this later on in the video. The third and final mistake that I commonly see is that the shoulders are closed. So, okay, we might have a nice straight line through the legs, nice looking at the lower back, and then we get to the shoulders and they're closed and we kind of have that kink in the shoulder line. Now this one is going to be to do with your overhead flexibility and probably specifically to do with the lats. One of those ones that is commonly needed if you're going to do anything like handstands, which obviously I'm a big fan of. So if we're going to correct this particular mistake, we're going to need to stretch out the lats. So therefore, if we break down the downward dog position, what we're going to need is we're going to need good posterior chain flexibility, good hamstring, good calf flexibility, and also fixing that sciatic nerve issue. And we're also going to need to improve our overhead flexibility. So how can we do that? Well, we can tackle those individual points specifically. So I'm going to recommend two very quick videos for you. The first one is my beginner hamstring flexibility routine. This one actually has calf stretching and it has a sciatic nerve glide in the routine itself. So you could just go and do that routine, do it twice a week, do your downward dog however you are doing it, and then probably over the next 4, 6, 8 weeks, you're going to see an improvement because your hamstrings, calves, all of that sort of stuff is going to get looser. So that will help you fix mistakes number 1 and 2. If you want to fix mistake number 3, I recommend you check out my butcher's block video. Again, it's one of the ones in this Do It Right series. That is going to be the king of those lat stretches. It's also going to hit that teres minor, teres major pretty well, which also limits that overhead position. So with those two combos, you should be able to eliminate all the specific flexibility issues that you're having with the downward dog. And again, over time, doing those stretches consistently, it will loosen up and it will improve your downward dog. Finally, if you want to just use the downward dog to improve the downward dog, which is, a fair assumption to make, we can do one progression which is going to help fix all of the mistakes that I shared earlier, and that is the hands elevated downward dog position. Now, the nice thing about the hands elevated is it gives us 2 focus points of the 2 weak points that are going to be limiting our downward dog. By elevating the hands, we're still doing that same downward dog, that same triangle position, but it's just going to reduce the amount of hamstring flexibility and the amount of ankle flexion or dorsiflexion we're going to need to get into that position. So get yourself a box, 30, 40, 50, 60 centimeters high, place your hands on it, push yourself into a downward dog position, really focus on arching the lower back. And then now, because our hands are a little bit higher, we can also think about pushing the chest down and opening up the shoulders more. So number one, we can reduce the stretch on the hamstrings if we've got tight hamstrings. And number two, we can focus more on the shoulders if the shoulders are the weak point. Now from here, all we need to do is we need to start lowering down that box. Once 50 centimeters gets easy, let's put it down to 30 centimeters. Once that feels easy, let's do 10 centimeters. And eventually we'll end up at the floor and we're doing the full downward dog. But yeah, that's basically it. That is how you do a downward dog if you are stiff and tight like I was several years ago. This one is just gonna take time and patience to get, as with all flexibility stuff. Just do it, stay consistent. As I said already in this routine, the other routines which are gonna help with those weak points are linked in the description down below, along with anything else in this video. But apart from that, I would love to hear, number one, your suggestion for the next Do It Right series, or just if you have any questions or comments about today's video, leave a comment in the comments section down below. If you just enjoyed this video, hit that thumbs up button and support to the channel. Right next to it is that subscribe button if you want to join the Bodyweight Warrior tribe. But that has been it for this week, guys. I'll catch you in the next episode. Have a strong week and peace.